Welcome to Las Vegas, where someone left the big boy studio unlocked. He's Tyler Fulghum. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. This is Bet, and we've snuck into the set of Daily Wagers. So, positive vibes only around these parts.
We try.
Give me a positive lining in the fact that the Houston Rockets yesterday lost their 20th straight game in a 2-point defeat to the Oklahoma City Thunder of all teams.
That's hard to do. I guess the only thing that could be potentially positive out of this, I don't know if Mattress Mac has some kind of promotional deal, 20% off for however long this win streak, or losing streak, I should say, is for the Houston Rockets. Maybe you can get a nice new mattress from Mattress Mac. We know he likes to parlay some promotions from the sports world into his business down there in H-Town.
For every 20-game losing streak, a free Tempur-Pedic pillow is yours to have, courtesy of Mattress Mac. All right. So, is the end in sight? They have lost 20 in a row, but there's some optimism on the horizon this week. Tonight against the Toronto Raptors team that has lost 8 straight. Wednesday against the Charlotte Hornets team that is down rookie sensation LaMelo Ball, who's out for the year with a fractured wrist. And then Friday and Saturday, a back-to-back against the lovable losers from Minnesota, the Timberwolves. How do you see it? Where do you see it? Is there any hope?
I do think the losing streak comes to an end at some point in those 4 games.
That's bold.
Let's go back to 20 games ago. They were 11-10, this Houston Rockets team, above 500.
I know.
And now they've lost 20 in a row. But the big difference is James Harden was shipped away to the Brooklyn Nets. And then they had to kind of recalibrate their entire roster. Not only that, they got hit with injury and COVID issues. Christian Wood missed time. John Wall has been slowly trying to build back to his regular minutes and back-to-backs. Victor Oladipo has sat out back-to-backs as he might be a trade chip that's moved because he has an expiring contract. Now guys like Daniel House, David Nwaba, Eric Gordon, they've missed time as well. They exiled Boogie Cousins. There's just been so much turmoil, but I think it's finally starting to settle down. Wall is back to a more normal minutes load. He's able to play back-to-backs. The same for Oladipo. Christian Wood's ankle is getting better. Now they've allowed Kevin Porter to come up from the G League, the exciting young player that was moved out of Cleveland. And he's a 6'6" slashing wing who can do a little bit of everything. So now that the roster is starting to become whole again, when you have guys like Wood, Wall, Oladipo, and Porter, guys who are legitimate players, I think they can beat a Charlotte Hornets team minus LaMelo. I think they can beat a Minnesota team that's minus Malik Beasley and D'Angelo Russell. So at some point in these 4 games, I think finally the streak will come to an end.
A 6'6" slashing wing who can do a little of everything. My man's got bars. My man's got bars. Let's isolate it. If it is going to end, pick the game where it ends.
I'll say it ends against Charlotte. I think Charlotte is going to have to adjust a little bit to life without LaMelo. They have depth at that backcourt position. Devontae Graham, though, is himself just coming off of injury and issues where he's missed time. So he's getting back into the swing of things. And I think a matchup against a Charlotte team where you don't need size to beat them, because that's kind of the one thing that lacks in Houston. You want to have those perimeter athletes. You want to have those guys who can push in transition and play that type of game that Charlotte likes to play. And I think Houston can play it better against a Charlotte team minus their best transition asset, LaMelo Ball.
3 options in my opinion. Number 1, you beat either Toronto or Charlotte. Phase 1 of this little 4-game run. Toronto is going out of its way to get ready to sell at the deadline, right? They've lost 8 straight. This is a team that's probably going to move Kyle Lowry. They're looking to the future. But maybe you don't win that, and maybe you don't get by Charlotte, right? So that enters phase 2. Win 1 against Minnesota, who has the worst record in the league and has won back-to-back games 1 time this season. Games 1 and 2 of the year. They actually started 2-0. And one of those wins came against the Utah Jazz.
But that
feels like that was pre-pandemic, but it wasn't. It was actually this season. Or phase 3. You win none of those games, and you sell the franchise. Because if you go 0-4 this week, that's the end of Fertitta. You got to be done. You got to sell it. You got to move it.
I mean, again, this is a prime opportunity for them to get a W. I do like them getting 8.5 points against a Toronto team.
Cool.
Even though they're desperate, as you pointed out, 8.5 points is a lot, and they're finally starting to get whole. They made that trade with Milwaukee, PJ Tucker for DJ Wilson and DJ Augustine, and Augustine can provide some kind of veteran stability at the point guard position as well. So again, I just like the way the roster is starting to come together as long as injuries don't strike again. But I do think a win happens somewhere in this quartet of games. Somewhere it's got to happen. I mean, 24 losses in a row. What's the record, 28? When the Sixers, wasn't it your Sixers?
I don't want to talk about that.
One time?
I don't want to talk about that. I just want to say, Houston, you've got a problem. You knew we were going to get that cheesy line in there at some point. Tyler Fulghum, Joe Fortenbaugh, Las Vegas, before they kick us out.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.